and child protective services, and they won't give them back to their loving families because they're making money.
This is a legal system that you're going into. And if you don't know the rules, you will be chewed up and spit out.
If I could say anything to a mother who just got their children detained, you're in a crisis. Yeah. Life feels like it's over. The most important thing is regaining custody of your children.
The child welfare system at its core is designed to protect children who need protection, okay? And that's key, is who need protection.
So social workers, out of fear, will remove more children rather than only remove those children that truly need to be removed.
It's okay. It's okay.
This isn't someone stole your car. Someone broke into your house. This is someone took your child, your flesh and blood.
It doesn't say on this order that it was not proven. It says untrue. True. I immediately knew that, okay, well, this ain't over.
Were there signs there? Were there no signs? Did I miss them? Did I catch them? At this point, I honestly don't know.
Families only get a finite amount of time to reunify.
I came into this field to help families, not destroy them.
The difference between the criminal system and the child welfare system is substantial. You have more rights as a criminal than you do as a parent.
Wow, that video gets me every time. It's so powerful. Hi, you are in the show Fight CPS and with LJ, and this is Michelle. Hi, Michelle. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm hanging in there best I can.
Good.
So tell me a little bit about you. And
I'm sorry, I just put ink all over my face. My pen exploded on me. I'm
oh
sorry.
no!
So I'm looking at myself and going, "What is that?" It's ink. Okay. Okay. Hopefully, it won't look too bad. All right. I'm laughing. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So tell me a little bit about you.
Me, I am a resident of Orange County, California. I've been a resident in this county for about 30 years. I was originally born and raised on the East Coast in New Jersey. So I've been here quite a while in Orange County. As far as my story goes, I actually have a little bit of knowledge of just a little bit of CPS and things like that, because I work for a school district, so I'm a mandated reporter. So I know a little bit, just a little bit, not that much. The little bit that I do know really wasn't enough to prepare me for what I was about to go through. So one day, it happened very simple. One day, very early in during the COVID, I'd say we were probably in month 5 or 6 in COVID. During COVID, my daughter was 13 years old back then. When the schools closed and she had to start doing remote learning, she had some problems adjusting to that. Like a lot of the students in the state, just worldwide, a lot of students had a lot of problems with that. She had difficulty adjusting, and she began to have some behavioral problems. And with those behavioral problems, which I originally thought were just normal teenage things, she started having a couple of hospital visits into Chalk Hospital. And in one of those visits, she was going in and out quite a lot because her behavior was getting pretty
like
serious
aggressive behavior.
It was she was diagnosed with depression. She was also tested for autism to see if she was on the autism spectrum, and opposition defiant disorder, and a couple other things. But in the hospital visits, and there were like about maybe 8 or 9 of them, somewhere in those hospital visits, someone called CPS and reported me. And then the next morning, I believe it was a Monday, I woke up to these 2 women standing at my door from CPS.
What was the report alleging?
I was not really told what it was. What I was told was that the hospital called, and she wanted the social worker wanted to check my daughter to see. Now this is 8 o'clock in the morning, so my daughter was still asleep, and this is probably before really late in August. She may not have started school yet, so it's summer vacation. I was not told very much, but when my daughter came out of her room after I woke her up, that's when things turned for the worse. That's when it got really bad. The CPS worker took my child out on the balcony to interview her, and I don't know what was said on the balcony, but that's kind of what made it all went bad from there. My daughter came out.
Did you like try to say no to that, or?
No, she did not ask me anything. She just asked my daughter. She just said, do you want to talk to me in private? So my daughter spoke to her outside in the balcony. Keep in mind, I don't have anything to hide, so I'm not nervous. It's just really, when you haven't done anything wrong, you're just kind of like, oh, okay, well, go ahead and talk to her. She just came home from the hospital. We haven't really even sat down and talked. So she literally just came home from the hospital. I had not had a conversation with her. So once they came out of the balcony, my daughter had a different kind of look on her face, and her arms were folded. And the CPS worker said, "You're emotionally abusing your child." And I was just like, "What are you talking about? What? I don't even know what you're talking about." And she just flat out said, the hospital, she repeated that the hospital called, and she said that I was emotionally abusing my child. And I asked her again, what are you talking about? And how are you, coming to that conclusion? And she said, if you don't call your child by your child's gender name, I'm taking her and I'm not giving her back until you will call her by her gender name.
What does that mean?
I had no idea. I had no idea what she was talking about. And so as she's saying this, she made my daughter go outside while she said this to me. So my daughter was not in the room when she said this to me. And I said, what name are you talking about? I said, I have no idea what you're talking about. She said, look, either you agree to call her by her new gender name, or you're emotionally abusing her. Now, at that point, I'm not a lawyer, but at that point, I realized that I know I have the right of free speech. So instead of arguing with her, I just flat out told her I was not going to discuss anything. I would need to talk to my lawyer. When she heard me say that, she walked right out. She walked right out of the house with my daughter. She walked right out of the house with my daughter. Walked right out.
Did you ever talk to your daughter about that? Like,
she separated us right away. So when she was interviewing my daughter, I was not in the room. And when she was talking to me, she had my daughter go outside.
So she left with your daughter, like took your daughter in her car and left?
Yeah. And then one of my charges, this was really confusing, was abandonment, and then I locked her. I was told that I was being charged with locking her out of my house. I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Now you have to understand, I am not in the mind frame of oh, this is going to be a fight. I'm just like, this has got to be some kind of misunderstanding. You guys are going to find out that there's no evidence that I did anything. That was my mindset. I really wasn't in a defensive kind of thing. I wasn't, because I had not done anything wrong, and I didn't know what the social worker was talking about with all of this gender stuff. I had no idea what she was saying, and I didn't know what it was that I was supposed to call her. You know what I'm saying? Like, if there was some information that I didn't know, nobody told me anything about it. But
like, so it was like something, you know, that the worker was saying, your daughter was saying that she has a different name that you refuse to call her.
That's what I was told. That's what I was told. So when she left, I was devastated. Like, it happened so fast, and she walked right out. I was just like, wait a minute. So I ran to the phone to call my daughter's father. I think I did get him. Now, remember, at this point, I'm completely traumatized because she literally just took my child.
Right.
I got him on the phone, and from what I can remember, I think I was just trying to explain to him what was going on, and I don't know how the phone conversation ended. I was just devastated, completely devastated. Sure. And she was gone, just like that. She was gone. My first time in court, the very first court hearing, was when I realized that I was just in a completely different world. And as I tell you my story, I hope that I can actually help other people to know what to expect if they get in a situation like this, because you cannot go into this type of court and think that it's going to run like regular court, because it's not run like regular court. It will take you a minute to understand it, but when you first go in, you're going to feel like you are literally on another planet. They don't let you speak. They don't let you speak, and they don't let you speak. If you try and speak, let me just tell the people who are listening to this, when you walk into that courtroom, when they take your child, you're already seen as guilty. That's one of the different parts of this type of a court system. They may not have any evidence at all, but when you come in there, you are already guilty. Okay, that's something that I had to learn, and I had to learn that the hard way, because I think I'm waiting for like evidence, and I'm waiting for this. They're already seeing you are already guilty. If they took your child, you're already guilty. And now I know that it's very important that you not even let them in your house.
Know your rights.
You cannot let them in. And the problem with that is, for someone like me who has nothing to hide, I'm like, oh, sure, yeah, you can come in. Like, I didn't.
Yes, that's what I did.
I have nothing to hide. When she took her in that other room, whatever was said to my daughter, like it's in a snap, she came out, was like this, and they took her. They just left with my child. And the key for that is, remember, you don't have to let them in because they don't have any evidence. If you let them in and they come in, everything you say will be used against you. This is not
you're saying it's allowed independent support.
Yeah, you don't have to have any evidence. They are basically going, everything that you say, don't say anything, don't let them in. That's the best advice that I can give you, because they're not going to be able to come into your home without a warrant. And that was the first mistake that I made. And unfortunately, that was probably the biggest mistake for me, because when I went into the courtroom, I realized that I was in a place where I was going to be by myself. I was going to have little help. I wasn't going to be told things. It starts to get to you after a while, but the very first time you set foot in there, do not expect anything. They already think you're guilty, and you cannot even talk. When I saw that you can't even talk, they don't even ask you. You're just sitting there. I was just like, I really think this is off. This is going to be really bad.
But if you look in the papers, it says you have the right to be heard, and the judge is supposed to give you time to speak. That never happens. That has not happened with me.
Yeah, it didn't happen in my case. And it usually, I think, the first time a parent goes in there, you really don't know what to expect. So you are going to be quiet, and you're trying to figure out what's going on. The other thing that I want to tell parents, this is kind of hard because this was hard for me. I'm a classified employee from at a school district, and then I've been for past 36 years. I've been a certified dance teacher. I'm a dance educator, so I work 2 jobs. That whole myth about having a public defender, I used to think it was a myth. I didn't think that, public defenders were bad anymore. I mean, we used to hear those stories about having a public, especially in a criminal trial, we used to hear bad things about that. You will learn that the public defenders, the court-appointed lawyers, are in on the whole thing. They're only there to make sure you have a fair trial. And when I tell you,
and even then, that's questionable.
Well, I mean, the fact of the matter is, let me put it this way: I am on my 4th lawyer. I'm on my 4th social worker.
Wow.
This lawyer that I have now is a private attorney. It took 2 years to save up the thousands of dollars that I needed to get a private attorney. So for people who have financial issues, if you're a single mother like me, if you have a job, if you have to work 2 jobs or you have a lower paying job, you're going to have to figure something out. If you can take out a loan, if you can borrow. I couldn't borrow from anybody. This was all during COVID. So I couldn't do a lot of stuff. There was little money. A lot of people lost hours. I lost hours. Dance studios were closing. I really didn't have anything but unemployment. So it literally took me 2 years to save up the $5,000 that I needed. But praise God, when I got that $5,000 was just a week ago, I was able to say, just get me a private attorney. I really need to just get away from these public defenders because they break the law. And I'll give you some examples of that. But I want people to understand that the sooner the better. For me, it just, I didn't have the money for such a long time. This turned into something that's still going on for 2 years because I could not get my own attorney. So I'm telling parents right now, you are going to have to work 4 jobs, 5 jobs, borrow it, get a loan, but don't wait on the public defenders because it's just going to make it worse. They're not there to help you. They're just there to make you think that the law is being carried forth, and it is kind of in a way, kind of shady in a way.
Precious, if you're forced by law enforcement to comply, then you have to comply. You don't really have a choice. She says it's not fair because my court-appointed attorney only specializes in traffic court. Wow. I mean, you can, talk, you can try to dismiss your attorney, but it's kind of hard sometimes. Michelle, do you have any advice on that?
About, let me just tell you this. I just wanted to get more light. So this is the thing. There aren't any pro bono. There's no pro bono juvenile dependency lawyers. Don't go to legal aid, and I'll explain to you why you can't go to legal aid. I made that mistake. Legal aid is the state. It's the county.
Yeah,
it's the state. It's the county. So when you complain or when you ask for an attorney in legal aid, and they ask you what kind of attorney you're going to need, and you say dependency court, they're going to tell you that they don't have lawyers for that because it's part of the state system. So you can't. You're being accused of a crime by the state, so you can't get a lawyer because they are the state. That's a state-run program. Legal aid is a state-run.
That is a brilliant statement. That's so.
People need to understand that you are going to waste your time going to legal aid, and fortunately, the legal aid that I went to told me that and explained that to me because I didn't understand either. I was like, why? What? You don't get a legal aid from them because it's the state. It's the state. They work for the state just like CPS does. So they're not going to help you. And that's really, really sad that there's a program there that can help people get a decent lawyer, and you can't if it's a juvenile dependent. Anything with CPS, you can't get a lawyer through them. And that's sickening. It's very sad.
It is. Deidre has a hearing tomorrow, and she says to possibly lose her parental rights. And my whole reunification process case is completely wrong by so many avenues. I don't know what else to do to avoid losing my kids. Deidre, talk to the judge. speak to the judge. If you have an attorney, ask what the plan is. Ask, what they are planning to do to defend you and to win. And I would make a statement to the judge, and maybe write some things out and write down facts of what you did. You have to introduce facts. They want to hear what you've done to remedy whatever happened. And if you have a hearing, I know when I had my hearing, that was my time to talk to the judge finally and say what I wanted her to know. And I wrote it out lots of times and rehearsed it. And, I think it was impactful in my case. So talk to your attorney and maybe get a chance to speak to the judge at your hearing. I think that's important. Michelle, what would you tell Deidre for her hearing?
Is Deidre going to trial? She's going to a trial?
She says to possibly lose her parental rights. So maybe it's a TPR hearing.
What does the TPR stand for?
Termination of parental rights. She did not say though.
Yeah, you know why she's not saying? Because it's hard to understand. It's hard to understand.
They don't explain this to you. Nobody.
I had to apply to law school. I did get accepted to one, but it's too expensive.
She said yes, it is a termination of parental rights.
That's pretty serious.
It is.
Because Deidre, I'm gonna pray for you, Deidre, but know this. If they take your rights away, you can't get it back. That's the law.
Fight it. Fight.
You're gonna have to fight really, really hard. I'm gonna fight with you. I'm gonna give you my email address so I can pray for you, because you have to go in there. First of all, like she said, write everything down. You have to go in there, but you can't go in there emotional. Don't go on your emotions. Do not be emotional. They're waiting for you to do that so they can say she's unfit. They don't care.
Which is crazy to me. How do you took my baby from me?
Right.
You think I'm just going to walk around with a smile on my face?
That's exactly what you have to do. I literally stood in front of the mirror and I practiced not flinching or not. First of all, don't put your head down. Don't bring your head. That shows that you're not secure. Keep your head up. Look them straight in the eye. Whatever you wrote out, you say to them in the calmest, softest voice. And I know this is ridiculous. I understand that. But the fact of the matter is, don't show any emotion, because they don't want to feel they think they are justified by what they are doing. If you get emotional, that's a way for them to cope with what they are doing. They're going to say, see, you're not even fit. You're uncooperative. You're this, you're that, because they don't want to deal with the fact that what they are doing is wrong. What they are doing is wrong. Sometimes the judges don't. I had one judge that wouldn't look at me the whole time. I had another judge that would look and then look away. And then I just would go straight eye to eye, look them in the eye, but make sure your demeanor is very, very calm. Speak boldly, but quietly. You can say things like, with all due respect, Your Honor, be clear about what you're saying, but let them know you're going to fight for your child, but you have to do it in a way where I hate to say this, a profile, not threatening. I don't know what your ethnic background is, but I had that issue.
No, Deidre, you can't call in, unfortunately, because Michelle is our guest. But you can definitely leave comments and ask us questions. I just want to remind you, we're not attorneys. We do not practice law, but we are here to help and support each other in every way that we can. And if we know something about the law, we will share it. But they're all different in every state. So, definitely, you said I'm on my third public defender, which is the only one that is seeing the truth of my case. Well, good. Talk to that public defender. Make sure they fight for you. Have them do their job. Make them do their job. You follow up with your case. You be a big part of your case. Research the law in your case or in your state.
Wow. Okay. Brittany's saying that depending on so in the state of Florida, they can take your next. If you have another child, they can take the child if you don't sign your rights over. Did you know that, LJ? I don't know.
Yes, I live in Florida.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So that's so true.
So if you have another child, they automatically take your child? That's
what do you mean? Wait, what do you mean?
Well, I thought she said that if you don't sign your rights for the child that they're trying to take, and you have another child, is she saying that they automatically take that next child?
So, and if you refuse to sign over rights on your own, they threaten they will automatically take your next child if you have well, they can threaten that, yes, but they can definitely open up another case because you had a removal of your first child. So, they'll get you somewhere.
Wow. Brittany, I'm going to be praying for you. I'm going to leave you my email address also. This is crazy. It's crazy.
It's all over the country. It's a disease that spreads like a wildfire. And I didn't know.
One thing that I want everybody to know that I'm doing, Black and Brown Families Matter. The reason why it's called that is because of the statistics, and California, New York are probably the worst. 85% of these children are children of color. If you're a parent, a single parent of color, man, you have got an uphill battle. If you are Black,
really
if you are
true. I've read a lot about that.
If you are African American in this state, you probably won't get your child back. The state of New York, I'm working with Black Lives Matter, and there's a group in the state of New York, and they have protested social services, and they want this to stop because it's LJ, help me with the word disproportionate. It's when you have 85% of these children of color, something is seriously wrong.
I don't get that. I really do not get that. Hispanic, yes. I mean, if you are of a different color, but it's mostly
Black and brown.
African Americans.
Black and brown.
It's ridiculous. All that's different is you have a better tan than me. That's it.
I want to explain why it's always Black and brown. Now, for you guys will see soon that I do go and I protest at the social service building. I'm there and I protest. I walk around the building. We'll show pictures. I did scope out the type of people that are coming into the building so I can see whose children are they being taken. Is it really all just people of color? So the whole thing is all of the people who have cases were Black or Hispanic, out here Mexican. One family was white, and this was wow. A very young, probably on the low income white girl. She was very young, and she had 3 kids. So that for me was like, this is what chattel slavery was. This is what chattel slavery was. I mean, it's a form of chattel slavery because in our country, 60% of the slaves brought over here from Africa, 65% of them were children under the ages of 16, 17. That is true.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, in this country, they have found other ways to keep that type of system. And I want to give a big shout out to this group of people, this ethnic group of people who figured it out and did something about it. So parents, if you have any Native American in you, there's a way out of this. And I found this out.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
It is called the Indian Child Act?
Yep.
So let me explain to the parents what the Native American people did. Shout out to my Native American brothers. Shout out. You had you guys figured it out. You knew the system. You knew they were not going to stop. They were taking Native American children. I don't know if they was trying to Christianize them. I don't know what the Caucasian people at that time were taking their children for. And it all boils down to labor, probably labor.
Yeah.
And they were taking them in disproportionate just numbers. And so I don't know if it was one tribe or a group of tribes put together this law called the Indian Child Act. So if a Native American child is taken, and you do not have to be full-blooded Native American. I'm not full-blooded. I have a small percentage. So, I was looking through those papers really hard trying to find. I was like, let me be something.
Right? Get in.
you have to first of all, you have to have your tribal card. I don't have a tribal card. I don't have that much Native American. I have like a small, like 1%.
Yeah, you have to have a certain amount, right?
You do, but you do also have to be able to prove through your lineage. You need to have a relative on that is on the tribe, and that's how I found out about this woman, this African American woman who was in the court with me, and she was telling me about her story, and she had said that her son, his grandparents are from the tribe, and they were in, I think, Kansas. So when her children were taken, this is how the Native American people did. They are no joke. Right on, Native people. If
and that's what we need to do. Like, we need to
that's what I'm saying.
Together and rally and petition.
How come nobody in the other groups didn't figure? I don't know. LJ, what do you think about that? How come?
I feel like we're all
like that.
I feel like we're all just, and I'm being so respectful when I say this because I'm heavily involved in a case myself that is just horrendous from A to Z. But I feel like we're all complaining on social media to our friends, to our family, but we're not doing anything about it.
Right.
Like, when are we going to do something about it? I mean, we have to go and face like the people who make the law.
Mm-hmm.
You know, your governor,
your senators,
your legislators, your senators.
Mm-hmm.
We have to go and talk to them. And I've been thinking about this myself for quite a while, is writing, you know, letters to all of those people in my state. And, you know, it's scary because you don't know where to begin, what exactly to say. Like, will this even get to them? You know,
Mm-hmm.
But you have to try everything.
You have to try.
Change the laws in our states. We have to, you know, do something about it. We have to be doers, not just sayers.
And that's part of the problem, LJ, is a lot of times I didn't know where to go. I was thinking, hey, I can go to the Attorney General until I found out that you can't go to the Attorney General. So you're right. One of the things that people need to know is, like the police have internal affairs, social services does not have anyone that is authority to them. So if something happens, like what happened in my case, where my social worker decided to start injecting my child with these shots that I didn't know about, some kind of hormone. Yeah.
They have to tell you.
Honey, I got them back because I showed up at the group home with the police.
Yeah, there you go. I love it.
Officer,
I love
it. My child is in there, and I need you to do a welfare check. You can have your child. You can call the police and have your child have a welfare check.
Yes, you can.
Exactly what I did. That's exactly what I did. They went into the group home. They did
say that again for the people, Michelle. Tell them what they can do.
You can, if your child is at a foster home or if your child is at a group home. Right now, my child is at a state county-run group home. You can have the police in that city do a welfare check on your child. You have every right to. Anybody can do that, but you can do it, and it's going to be in your favor when you go to the judge. Deidre, my sister Deidre. Something like that happens. Look, Judge, here's the police report. We're gonna need to discuss this. My child is not safe. You have got to show them, like LJ said, show them everything. So that's what I did. I went to the police. They went and did the check. I got the report number, and the next day I followed up. Now, here's the thing about social services. Social services is always seen as like the hero. People in other law enforcement think that go to social services, they'll help you. So that's what the police told me. The police said, can't you just go to social services and report this? I said, so social services can investigate themselves? I was like, no, I need you, because he didn't want to write anything on the report. And I said, you need to take this serious. And so I got a report, and it may not say anything because they probably didn't want to deal with that. They probably were like, whatever. Disgruntled parent, you know, that kind of a thing. But you can go into court and say, here, Judge, I just want to let you know that this social worker told me my child was getting these shots without my consent. And what I found out was, did a little bit more digging. That's not the only medical procedure, unnecessary medical procedure that they were doing to the kids in the group home.
Oh, God, help me. Oh my God.
Now I intercepted an appointment that they were about to take my child to. This is her third group home. first group home already took her to this dentist to get all this work done. The idiots at this group home tell me they don't get no records from the other group home. So they take all of the kids from the group home without knowing any of their medical history, if their teeth were already done with, take them to the new dentist. But they take them to this new dentist who wants to defraud the medical insurance and have all this work done. So my child calls me on the phone, Mom, I got 13, 14 cavities. I said, no. I said, what? I tried to tell him, and she's telling them, doctor, they don't want to listen to her. She's a county child. She's Black. Let's just do this procedure. Unnecessary procedure. You guys know about the Tuskegee thing, that whole thing? Same thing. It's the same thing. They don't care about this group of people. So what I did is I went and I got the dental x-rays of the other dentist.
Oh, look at you. Smart girl. I love it.
And I showed up with them, and that dentist wanted to die when I showed up. I was like, I don't know who you think has 13 cavities, but you're not sitting my child in there. They wanted to, he would have sat her, she would have gotten all this unnecessary pain.
Wow.
And I was like, this is how the county treats these kids?
Wow.
Because they're county kids, you don't even call the other group home. The first group home told me they get rid of, maybe Elder, you can help me with the medical stuff. When a child leaves one facility and goes to another facility, why is that medical stuff not passed over to the next facility?
100% needs to be, should be, supposed to be. That should be part of their record.
Wow.
It's funny that you brought up the dentist, because my son is 3 and he had a dental appointment that I only found out about the night before, about 12 hours before. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't attend, so I said, he's with a family member, and I do not get along with this family member, unfortunately. And he, I wasn't told that anything was going to be done. Oh, it's just a checkup, and they, she would let me know what happened. I said, no, we're gonna chat on the phone, video, when you get to the dentist, because I'm at work, I can't make it.
Right.
Well, he had a cleaning, and then he had they were putting like the sealant on his teeth to protect against cavities. I'm sorry, but to me that's a procedure for my 3-year-old. And all I hear, because she wouldn't video, she only let me be on the phone, all I hear is him scared and saying no, and they just like, we're keeping going, and I'm like, he needs a break, and I like protested. I started getting mad, like, that's the advice I want to give to everybody is look after your kids, no matter what. Find out what's happening, where they're going, who their doctor is. You still, if you have rights, you have access to all of that knowledge. You are 100% allowed to know what is happening with them medically and at school.
Which is why they try so hard to take the rights away, because they want to be able to do what they want.
Money.
Right. And the other thing is, you have to understand that even if somebody takes your rights away on paper, it's on paper. You're still always going to be that child's mother. Don't let social services trip you up about that, because it is. I'm not saying it's very cruel. It's brutal. However, continue to maintain that relationship with your child. Because once they turn a certain age, the county don't want them anyway. When they get to emancipation age, bye. I try to tell my child that.
They let them walk right out the door.
They only care about the time where they can make money. If they keep my child until my child is 18, the county, this state will get over $600,000 if they keep her. If they keep her that long.
Wow.
You know what? That is a real problem. And like LJ said, and I found out that there actually is a group of people, organization that you can go to, but you need your senator. You need to talk to your senator. I had to find out who the senator here in California is. And once you do that, your senator can go and have that group home or have that social services audited. Now, here in Orange County in 2016, this state that I lived in, they were audited, and they were sued for $4.9 million for taking this young lady's children away. I believe this lady, she was a Caucasian lady. She had 3 children, but she was a single mom. Remember, we're vulnerable. When people don't understand this, when you are a single mom, you really got to work really, really hard because you don't have as much fighting power. But if there are 2 parents, they'll try to take your kid away if you're single. But even if you're not with your baby's father, try and unite with him. Put away all of your differences. Try and unite with him. You guys, in unity fight, because they will more than likely give back your child when there's 2 of you on one accord. In my situation, I'm not with my ex-husband anymore. They were able to divide and conquer. I still don't know everything that he was told. I know what I was told. And now that I look at it, I believe that everything they told me he said was 100% false. I believe they tried to get me to turn against him. They tried to get him to turn against me. You got to cut that out.
Yeah.
Get with the baby's father. Say, hey, you know what? Let's put aside our differences and let's fight this, because if we're divided, you can divide and conquer. And that's exactly what happened in my case. In my case right now,
Mine too.
The reports are actually saying that my ex-husband is not even involved. And I'm like, what do you mean not even involved? What, like, how, like you're saying that on paper, but do you actually know that? Do you guys actually talk that kind of stuff? Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. If you and him can get together and go to court together, remember, the 2 of you standing in court together is way stronger than one single mom.
So true.
You have to remember, 2 people is harder. One person like me, I was pretty much like, but I wasn't going down without a fight.
Right.
If I have to stand by
everybody, you have to fight.
My sisters, if you have to stand by yourself, you just gonna have to suck it up and just stand by yourself and fight.
That's right.
Give it all you have.
That's right.
You can't force the father to do anything. You can't. I'm not trying to defend the fathers. However, if going through something like this, I can understand why our father is like, I don't want nothing to deal with this.
Right.
I can understand everything that has happened to me. I can 100% understand why somebody would say, that's why parents quit and say, oh, well. That's what I've been hearing. The parents that I've been talking to, a lot of them are like, oh, it's my fault. I was like, don't say that. It probably wasn't your fault. I was like, don't.
Guilt and shame have no purpose in your life. They serve no purpose.
It's actually designed for their reunification process to fail. It's gonna fail, and they know it. That's why they designed it that way.
Right.
So don't give up. And if you have a partner or your husband, or please get together, connect. You can hate each other later, but you gotta get your kid back, because they will divide you. And when you're by yourself, you don't have a lot. You don't have a lot. So
true. And that's kind of what I'm dealing with. They told me that, he could not even be in the home. And if he left, that they would reunify me and my son. They did not. That's not true either. I learn something new like every day about how corrupt this system is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's terrible. But I want to reiterate to everybody what Michelle said. You can have your senator audit them.
Audit them. Yes.
Do it. Do everything. These are your kids. Get them. Fight for them. You were the only one who's going to fight for them.
LJ, if you go to Florida, if you go to your website for Florida, you guys have a state audit also. So there's on your state audit, there is a section for you to do complaints. That's a good thing, because you can do them online instead of having to sit and wait for people. Do your complaint. Have evidence. Like I said, this lady got $4.9 million. They took her case for 6 years. Her story is almost exactly like mine.
Wow.
Almost exactly like mine. And then I was so like, oh my God, that I wound up calling that lawyer who was her civil rights attorney. And I just, out of a whim, this is the other thing, moms and dads, if you're single dads, don't be afraid to talk to like high profile people. I thought that this guy, this attorney would never call me back. He is a famous civil rights attorney. And I sent a joking email and I said, hey, I hear you're kind of, if you help me, I'm going to make you famous. The next day, he says, I'm already a famous attorney. I was like, oh my God, he emailed me back. He emailed me back. I was like, wow. Jesus, he emailed me back. Don't be afraid to go to centers. I know it's a political thing. Don't get caught up on politics. These are still people. These are people with children, grandchildren.
Right.
Some of them have had stuff like this happen to them.
If you're in Florida, you go to myflfamilies.com. And it says Office of the Inspector General, and right there, like the seventh right down, it says file a complaint or make a report.
Right. And for California, go to Google the California State Auditors, and you will see the same thing. And it's very easy to fill out. You just make sure that you fill it out. Somehow you have got to keep track of it. They give you like a little number, and you just have to stay on it. Now listen. Don't leave out these group home and foster kids, please. These foster kids, the foster parents, foster parents in the group home, they are being paid millions of dollars. Yeah. Millions and millions of dollars. Because I work in education, I'm very familiar with the group home system. So I knew what to look for when I went to visit my child at the group home. I was looking at the license on the wall. I just was taking these mental notes to make sure I understood what was going on. But you can also file a complaint against the licensing people who license the foster homes and license the group homes.
Right.
And if your child is in a group home, I know foster parents get kind of like a bad rap, but group homes are notorious also. They can be quite nasty too. My child was telling me there's roaches all in this group home, and I was like, all the money that they're getting, I go to the group home, the doorbell doesn't work. I was like, well, my goodness, what my taxpayers' dollars is supposed to pay for this. They have these kids in these horrible, they're not nice.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, none of the money goes to actually care for who's got to be there.
Yeah, and that's why you want to get up off of your butt and start looking. Go to the group home, go to the foster home, but be nice. I tend to. This is what I did. I made friends with the people at the group home because really, actually, the group home, they're kind of the middle people. They just house the kids. So I made friends with all the group home workers. I would bring them in and out, all the kids' food and stuff like that. And they would be like, hey, our mom is here. And I would just make friends. I came and taught a dance class, an exercise class, because like they all needed it, like the staff people there wouldn't do anything. I did like a class for them. I stay connected with them because the group home, you don't want to piss off because they can do anything to your kid.
Right. They take it out on the children.
And they can hide it. The group home. Now, the foster homes, I don't have that much experience in, but it's the same thing. Have a good relationship with the foster parent. Get on talking terms. Fake it. I wouldn't want to talk to, hey, somebody else had my kid. Put on your acting skills. Hey, how you doing? I appreciate it. That's what you need to do, because one thing is they're kind of like the middle people too, but they're kind of doing it for money. But we all know that. But what's important is that your child is there living with them, and you don't want any harm to come to your child. I have heard and saw so many stories where there was abuse going on because they know the parents don't care. They know the parents don't come by. They don't like the parents. Get over
and that's what's crazy is more than half of the time the kids are truly abused when they're removed from the parents.
Yes. My first husband, I've had two, that's why I say first husband. He told me that there's a county out here that's actually suing social services. I'm like, what do you how they're suing social services because the kids that they're putting in these foster homes, they're getting raped. They're becoming pregnant. I just talked to my sister, a lady with my mentor. Both of her children were in a group home. They had the same thing with the gender issues, like they got their heads shaved off. They wanted to start injecting them and stuff like that. But one of them gets pregnant, and she's like, how did my child get pregnant? And they told her, well, this guy that was coming in saying he was you guys' family member would sign in. I was like, really now? That's a lawsuit to me, sweet. She never sued, but if my child turned up pregnant on their watch,
oh yeah, Lord help me then.
yes, you have to be diligent about checking up on your child. Keep your relationship, keep them close, even though it hurts me so bad when I have to go to the group home and I got to take the dogs all out of the car and they're all licking. I mean, it's awful, but somewhere you can get the strength to at least keep that open communication, because you never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to happen. 9 times out of 10, your child is really going to need you because something's going to happen to them there, and they're going to want to come home, or this is all somehow going to be resolved. They may hide it and say, okay, we'll give you back your child, but you can't say anything. They do crap like that. So and
if you don't see your child, make them color them a picture, write to them, do something that you can give to them when you finally do get to them.
Can you send them a video? Can the younger kids have videos from their parents, like if they can't see them, like send them a video?
I mean, it depends on if the foster parents, or in my case, my family member, she says she will, but it never gets to him, but you can make videos, and you can, when you do see them, show them pictures of when you were together as a family.
Right.
That was like my spouse had that idea. Like, he showed our son pictures of us when we were all together, happy and doing just fine. And our son was elated to see, wow, hey, that's me as a baby. Like, wait, he understands still, like, because he's getting frustrated. He every time I see him, Mommy, why can't I go home? He wants to just come home, and he's so young, he doesn't understand. So I tell him, Mommy is building your house. It's almost finished, and you can come home really soon, buddy. And even the CPS worker will tell you, don't say that, because you can't promise that.
Well, the thing is,
yes, I'm gonna tell my son he's coming home, because I'm never gonna stop fighting.
You know what? You have to speak it. If they don't like it, that's tough on them, because one of their tactics, what you're saying, is leading me to this one of their tactics is to, depending on the age of the child, how they can be manipulated. My child is in a very rebellious state, teenager, so easily manipulated. Yeah. One of the tactics of the social worker is to seclude them from the family. If you don't see your family, I had to go head to head with this social worker, because my oldest daughter, who's 27, the social worker didn't want my child to see her older sister, because that's a potential place where she can be placed, and they keep denying her to go with her older sister. But the whole tactic is to seclude from the family, so you don't see them, the child doesn't see them, they're abusive, you're not going to see them, and then your child starts forgetting. And then when you do stuff like going to see them, sending them the stuff, CPS tries to find a way to sabotage that, because they don't want the child saying, I want to go home.
Yep.
I think my child, I have it recorded where my child is saying, I want to come home. And when I was walking around protesting the building, I let that play so they can all hear, because we're all human
at that
beings.
age, your child can be asked by the judge, and they will consider it. Because of the child's age, but it's tough, like for me, because mine is so young.
Yeah, he's young. Yeah.
It's hard. It's really hard.
Can you like go visit? Do you do the visit where you take him out, or you have to stay at the facility?
I have only been given 2 unsupervised hours per week, and I can have unlimited visits, but my family member is too busy doing stuff to give any more than that. But my family member seems to be okay when when I'm asked for money in exchange for visits. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So which I believe is extortion.
Yeah. Oh, Girl.
But it doesn't seem to matter to my caseworkers.
No. Yeah.
So, it's really hard because, we're all dealing with this across the country. And, the main thing, that's frustrating is I feel like, hearsay should not be allowed in dependency court. I think that's ridiculous. I think it should be factual, nothing other than that, So, Michelle, thank you so much for having, your advice, giving your advice and being on our show. And you're so knowledgeable. I would love to have you back again sometime if you are available. Is there anything that you really want to tell the people that, would maybe help bring them some comfort or support?
Yeah, you guys, I started an organization. It's a nonprofit organization. Like I said, I didn't know anything. I had to educate myself. I would sit here till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning trying to study the law. It's not easy for somebody my age. I'm like old. I'm like, I can't understand it. So the reason why I applied to law school is because I work at a school, and that's kind of how I learned. I can't going to court one day, seeing a lawyer one time, and then something happens and the lawyer's trying to explain to you. That's not how I learn. I have no clue how I'm supposed to process when these lawyers are trying to explain things to me. So I took it upon myself to take the law classes, to apply for different law schools to help others, but so I could understand what they were talking about. Like some of the stuff I was just like, huh? What? Like you have to be like a lawyer to understand all of that. And because it's dependency court, it's not even on the same kind of system. So that's even more difficult to understand what's going on. But I'm going to have a virtual and a physical protest. It's going to be a peaceful protest. I do go down to the social services office and I do protest peacefully. We have a picture to show you. I go by myself and my dog, and we walk around, and I walk around and I'm praying and I'm doing all kinds of things just so social services, they know I'm out there and they know I'm out there protesting, but I'm doing it peacefully.
Look at this dog, how cute. It says,
that's
please
the dog.
Return my money to our home.
The first time, I want to let your viewers know something. Around the time when George Floyd was murdered by the police, that's when I started doing my protests. And because protesting, like we saw back in the 60s, that was really the way that I was taught. I didn't know what else to do. I just grabbed the sign and I just marched around. I didn't bother anybody. They actually sent an armed guard walking over to me with his hand on his gun to try and intimidate me.
Wow.
So I'm watching this, and I was having difficulty keeping my camera. I have to sneak my iPad and all this. I have to film this stuff because I don't know with George Floyd, if somebody does something to me, do you think social services is going to tell them what actually happened? No. So I was fumbling around trying to get my camera ready or whatever. And he actually walks over to me and he says all of this stuff to me. And I just walked past him, kept singing, kept praying. And I go there every Friday because when I first started doing it, I remember I'm only one person. I have me and I have a puppy. My one person caused such a stir because the social services doesn't expect anybody to do anything like that, they were coming out of this. They were coming out of their offices. One social worker got on her phone and she was ranting and raving. She didn't know I knew what she looked like. So I sent her a text saying, my goodness, your braids look so good, girl. Oh, she flipped out. She flipped out because she didn't think I knew what she looked. She didn't think, hey, we're in Orange County and it's 2% African American. So when she walked out, I knew that was her. So now that I do that on the regular, it still bothers people because they can see the truth. They see that you are an actual mother. You're an actual person. Don't be afraid to do things like that. And that's why on Mother's Day, not the day after Mother's Day, the 9th of May, we're gonna do a peaceful protest where all of the moms who've had their children taken or have had this happen to them in the past and didn't get their children back. I've heard of illegal adoptions. I've heard horror stories like that about the illegal adoptions. That's a whole nother thing.
Is there a website, Michelle, that you have? Because you said it was virtual also, right?
Yeah, I want to do it virtual, but I haven't been able to figure out how. In virtual, I want it done on that Sunday, which is Mother's Day. And all I want everybody to do is to just send an email and say, give us our babies back. And that's what
Who would they send an email to?
Send the email to me, and then I'm gonna forward it to social services.
And what is your email?
My email is Families Matter Black Brown, all one word, Families Matter Black Brown @gmail.com. And please email me your story. You can remain anonymous, but these are the things I have to take to the state senators in order for them to even take a look at what's going on. Like I said, there's a big thing on the East Coast in New York, but New York is a lot smaller. It's a lot easier. Here on the West Coast, it's huge and very political out here. Everybody's so political out here.
Raise that awareness.
Yeah. We just need to make we need to expose it, because most people don't know what's going on. You don't know until you actually go through it or you hear someone's story. But I just want social services to know that we are mothers and we're people. We're people. We're people. We want our children back. You do your investigation, and whatever it is that you want us to do, we do that. Give us our babies back. I mean,
right.
What's your?
Don't pull my past and use that against me, because now I've remedied, what just happened.
and the damages that are done when the family is torn apart like that is something that they're not addressing, because they want to try and push this whole reunification process that they know will not work.
Right.
And my thing is, just stop lying. Like, like, really,
that's the problem with CPS and the court-appointed attorneys. They have no accountability, integrity, morals, good ethics. But it's a disease, and we need to stand up and fight. But Michelle, we are getting out of time.
Yeah.
But I want to play a song for everybody, and it's a song that I love, and it just inspires me. It's a song called "Rise Up" by Andra Day. And it's a beautiful song, and we can't post the video, but I want to play it for everybody to hear. It's kind of about a song. If you're going through troubled times, just remember to rise up. So hopefully you like it.
Doing crazy dreaming.
courage. If God can bring you to it, he'll bring you through it. And dance, everybody. Just dance. Just get up and dance. Dance. Just have a dance. Find some joy in your sorrow. And
you guys, that was Andra Day, Andra Day.
Yes.
And she's really got a beautiful voice. Sorry, this is still playing.
It's a beautiful song. Very beautiful.
And it just really touched my heart. And you know, listen to positive music. Organize your house to where it's clean, and don't wear black and be negative. Black pants are okay because they're slimming. Don't wear black shirts. You know, surround yourself in positive things. You know, remember to self-care. Practice self-love, surround yourself with positive people, and good things. Michelle, we're out of time. I could talk about this all night. I'm sure you can too. You know, we're here for you guys to support each other and just fight for your kids, and, you know, never give up, because they're your kids. They need you to fight for them. And they're hoping you are fighting for them. So, Michelle, thank you so much for being on.
Maybe I can come back in May before our little protest.
We would love that. I would love that. Thank you so much.
BlackBrown@gmail.com. Give us our babies back, social service. Give them back, because I'm coming to get mine.
Amen.
Family
Matter, BlackBrown@gmail.com. That's May 9th.
Get your baby back. Get your babies back. Get them back. Get them back.
Thank you so much, Michelle. You have a wonderful night.
Okay, you stay encouraged. You stay encouraged, girl.
I only know how to.
God's gonna do it. God's gonna do it. Stay encouraged. I'm praying for you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, bye-bye.
Have a good night, everybody. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.